So then what is your best guess based on your reporting along with Jeremy Fowler, and obviously you and Don Van Natta have been all over this thing. What happened to the politics of the NFL that Belichick is saying, you know what, I'm going to just go back to school. I'll be the Thornton Mellon of college football rather than just sit around and try and chase down Don Shula because I might not get that opportunity. Why did things turn into this for the NFL and Belichick, do you think?
I mean, from my reporting, I think he feels like there's a lot of lack of accountability, and that just doesn't exist, within his program, within the way that he was raised, and he believes to the fiber of his being in, huge levels of accountability. And obviously there's inconsistencies within that, but that's broadly, a major ethos of his life. And I think that last year he gets let go by the Crafts after changing their lives and legacy. He goes and meets with Arthur Blank twice, and it looks like he's the favorite for that job. And things changed in a hurry. And the decision makers in that group not only didn't want him as the head coach, as Don and Jeremy and I later reported, he didn't even finish in the top 3 of anyone's choices. And I think that even though Belichick was willing to work with new people and to adapt his system and not have, the total control that he had enjoyed for most of his career, I think that as he reflected on it more, I don't know if that's necessarily what he wanted. I think that he wanted to work with people and spend his days with the people that he really enjoys spending days with, and they're philosophically aligned. I don't think he wanted to sit in meetings and argue with the GM in front of the owner about why his strategy for drafting a certain player, might have made more sense than the previous guy or the current guy or whatever that might be. Why owners don't just want this guy, all of them can come up with an excuse that seems rational. He's too big, he's intimidating, his years without Brady weren't great, he's too old, whatever it might be. There's a lot of plausible explanations out there, but why none of these guys said to his existing GM, look, I'll hire, you're going to keep your job. I need you to work as closely as you can with Belichick. We're going to let him do things as he wants until he gets the record and he retires off into the Hall of Fame. And I want you to learn every single thing you possibly can. The NFL player agent, Mike McCartney, had a quarterback in Denver who was a rookie, and Peyton Manning was in the quarterback room, and Mike McCartney told this player, whatever you do, write down every single thing that Peyton Manning does all day long. You will never get a better education. And why no owner said that to some of these guys is really beyond, I guess my expertise, because the explanation seemed really rational, but at the same time, you're talking about a guy who's an 8-time Super Bowl champion.
I'm going to give you a spinning curve in the zone in the few minutes I have left with you, Seth Wickersham. I know the answer to it. I'm just going to give it to you. I'm going to give you a cookie here. I'm going to give you a cookie here. Because what you just said when you said, how come an owner didn't tell an existing general manager, guess what? Do your best to work with Bill Belichick and learn, open the books. Just you work with him and you learn from him and you glean from him. And the other way that you could hire Bill Belichick in the NFL is if your franchise is so down and out, you've got to hand the entire culture over to him. Choose your GM, Bill. Choose the groceries, Bill. I'm handing the entire culture over to you because it just hasn't worked out here, and we've got a high draft choice. If that situation could have already had a quarterback, like, say, the Chargers did with Harbaugh. Jim, you bring in your system, you bring in your GM, you got Justin Herbert, let's go win. The best spot for Bill, where the owner is just out of options, it just hasn't worked, to say you handle it, would be the Jets. There's your cookie, Seth.
That's not happening. There we go. Yeah.
Right?
One of the more enjoyable aspects of this year and watching Bill on television is, he'll never fully go there like he would in private, but, seeing a little glimpse of his edginess. And, he had a good time with Woody Johnson after they let Saleh go. Man, he every platform that he was on, and he was on a lot of platforms, he had fun with that one.
Yeah, he said ready, fire, aim was his was Woody Johnson's way of going about his business. But I'm serious. Like there's never any chance, right? In a million years, because of the way it all went down years ago. I mean, right? Is that it? Is that the history here, Seth?
He had, yeah. I mean, he had issues about Woody Johnson before Woody Johnson was even the owner of the Jets, and Belichick was technically the head coach of the Jets.
Right.
The team didn't have an owner at the time, as you well know. And one of the reasons why he wanted out of that situation was because the owner was either going to be Johnson or Jim Dolan, and he was unimpressed with both of them. And that has definitely not waned. And I don't think that the way that Woody Johnson has run the team would give anybody, any optimism that Belichick had it wrong.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.